మీకు నీట్గా అర్థమవుతుంది. ఇంకా
ఇప్పుడు
నా
ఏం
స్క్రీన్ షేర్ చేయండి సార్.
అడిగిన క్వశ్చన్
అవును సార్, జస్ట్ ఒక 5 minutes అంతే సార్.
క్లాస్
5 minutes.
నీకు ఒక్కరికి చూద్దాం ఒకసారి అదంతా. హలో
సార్ సార్.
క్లాస్ నేను చూస్తాను నీ యొక్క కోడ్ అంటున్నా.
ఓకే సార్. ఓకే, థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్.
Okay.
థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్. ఓకే సార్, థ్యాంక్ యూ.
So remaining colleges, please give the response if you are ready. If you are ready to start the session, so that I'll start the session. So what we discussed in the last session. So we discussed telephony package. We discussed in the telephony package. We've seen how to send the email. We discussed how to send the emails. So in that email, it's also how to send the email using built-in activity. We discussed how to send the email using built-in activity. We discussed, and next we discussed how to send the email. How to send a mail using built-in activity, and how to send the mail using Java Mail API. How to send the mail using what? Java Mail API. So we discussed these two topics we discussed in the last session. How to send an email using built-in activity and how to send a mail using Java Mail API. So in between this, sending a mail using Java Mail API, we discussed a concept called asynchronous task. We discussed a concept called asynchronous task. What is the use of asynchronous task? I hope you understand what is the use of asynchronous task. I'll recall once again. If any process is taking some time to process, if any logic is taking some time to process, the activity thread will not wait to complete the process. To wait that existing activity thread, we use a concept called asynchronous task, because in future, in a lot of places, you will get a requirement of using this asynchronous task. Okay. So now, after that, we've seen how to send a mail using Java Mail API in the background without any email client like Gmail, like without selecting any email client. How to send a mail we discussed. So today's session will start Android. Today's session will start Android Media Package will start. Today's session will start Android Media Package. So in this Android Media Package, we'll discuss 5 topics. Like first thing is media player. We discuss. Next, we discuss a UI component called a video view component. We'll discuss. Next, we discuss a concept called audio recording. Media player will discuss. Video view will discuss. Audio recording will discuss. Next, we'll discuss video recording and media player, video view, audio recording, video recording, and we'll discuss a concept called camera and gallery. So we'll discuss these 5 concepts we'll discuss in the Android Media Package. Okay. So I don't know, maybe in other technologies, media, the faculties generally will not much focus on the media part, because if you are learning the Java technology or .NET technology, we don't need a requirement of discussing the media concepts like playing an audio file and all. But in case of Android, definitely you must have a knowledge on the Android media components, because this is one of the common requirement in applications: playing an audio file, displaying the video files, recording audio, recording a video, camera, gallery. These are all the one of the common requirement in the applications, Android applications. So that's why that's why even the media also plays a key role in the Android application development. Okay. So now we'll see first the media player part. By using media player, how we can play the audio files in Android we'll discuss. Okay. There is a class called android.media.mediaPlayer is a class. Android.media.mediaPlayer class is used to Android.media.mediaPlayer class is used to play audio and video files in Android. Android.media.mediaPlayer class is used to play audio files in Android. Android.media. So media player is a class name which is used to play the audio files in Android. If you want to play any audio file in Android, then we use a class called what? Media player. So first thing, we have to create an object for media player. Next, second thing is we can get the audio file from we can get the audio file from three different sources. We can get the audio file. We can get the audio file from three different sources. The three different sources are: one is you can play the audio file from APK. You can play the audio file from APK, and you can play the audio file from storage. The storage means it may be internal storage, or it may be external storage. It may be internal storage, or it may be external storage, or it may be within from the APK file. So it may be internal storage and external storage. We can play the audio file from three different sources. One is you can play the audio file from APK, and you can play the audio file from internal or external storage, or you can play the audio file from the network, or you can play the audio file from what? Network. These are the three different sources we are having to play an audio file. Okay, APK file, storage, and the network. So let's see first one. How we can play the audio file from APK. How we can play the audio file from APK. So first what we'll do is if you want to play the audio file from APK folder, first we have to, in the resource folder you can find one folder called, in the resource folder you can find a folder called, meaning we have to create one folder, we have to create called raw. By default you will not get this raw folder, we have to create this folder. What is the folder name? Raw is the folder name, RAW. Okay. So inside this raw folder we have to place a .mp3, meaning whatever the audio file you wants to play, place that audio file into raw folder. This is what the first step. What is the first step? If you want to play the audio file, which audio file you want to play, place that audio file into resource. The resource folder you can find a folder called raw. In the raw folder, place that audio file. That is all the first step you have to do. Second thing is we have to create an object for media player. So second thing next we have to create an object for media player. Media player is equals to media player dot create is a method. Media player dot create is a method. First parameter is a context you have to specify. Media player is equals to media player dot creator. First parameter is a context. Second parameter is the file name you have to specify. R dot raw dot specify the file name. Okay. If you want to play the audio file, first we have to create an object for what? Media player. Media player is equals to media player dot creator. Media player dot creator. First parameter we have to specify the context. Second parameter is what? We have to specify the file name. We have to specify r dot raw dot file name. Okay. Next, following are the major methods. Following are the major methods in the media player. Following are the major methods in the media player class. The methods are: one is start is one method. Pause is one method. Start, pause, stop. Start, pause, stop. Next, reset is another method. Start, pause, stop, reset, prepare, set data source. Next, we are having a method called seek2 is another method. Media player dot seek2 is another method. Next, get duration is another method which is used to get the total length of audio file. seek2, get duration, and get current position. So these are all some of the major methods. These are all some of the major methods in the media player class. These are all some of the major methods in the media player class. Okay. So now what we'll do is we'll develop an application. These are all the list of some of methods in the media player class. So now we'll develop an application. I'll show you what is my application requirement exactly. So imagine this is what the mobile screen. Okay. Here my requirement is I want to display a media player logo here, some icon, or otherwise which audio file it is playing. I want to play that audio file image I want to play, or otherwise I want to display the media player logo I want to display here. Okay, here I want to display the media player logo. Then I want to create 4 buttons here. I want to create not 4 buttons, 5 buttons. End of the screen I want to create 5 buttons. I want to create. I want to create 5 buttons. I want to create. The first thing is we have to create a button for playing an audio file. Play the audio file. Pause the audio file and stop the audio file. Play, pause and stop. We have to create 3 buttons. We have to create, and we have to create one more button called forward. We have to create one more button called forward button. We have to create. We have to create a forward button, and we have to create one backward button. We have to create. Okay, so I want to design this application. I want to design, and here I want to create one seekbar component. I want to create, meaning seekbar component means even you can update the positions. You can update. Okay, so we'll create a UI component for seekbar. So you can update this seekbar position. You can update. So once if you update the seekbar, so you can play the audio. So we can forward, we can backward, even you can. The time of playing an audio file, automatically we have to update the seekbar position. We have to update. So this is what my application requirement. Okay. So listen carefully. Not only the media player concept you are going to understand here. So the main thing you have to understand how to design this user interface. You have to design. That is what the first thing you have to understand. Second thing is we are going to use a concept called handler. So what is in by handler concept? The two things are the important. Okay. So let's see. This is what my application requirement. So for doing this design, let us take these are the 5 images. These are the 5. We need the 5 images. We need the play button, pause button, forward button, back button. So we need all these images. We need. So let's take first we'll create a project. First we'll create a project. Let us take file, new, Android application project. Let's take my project name is media player test is a project name. What is the project name? Media player test is a project name. Next. Okay, next. So finish. Okay. So I need these images. I need so these 5 images. This play button, pause button, backward button, forward button. So what we can do is so how we design that web view component. We opening a snipper tool and we crop the images we crop, right? Have you remembered we from the internet just type media player icons, you'll get all these icons. You'll get play button, pause button, backward button, forward button, and all. So in my system already have some images. This play button, forward button, backward button, and all. Or otherwise, I shared you one workspace, right? In that workspace, you can find a project called Media Player project. Go to the drawable folder. What are the images are there in the drawable? So copy all the images into this current folder, current project. So I already shared you this workspace. Already shared to you. Okay. So what I'm doing is just go to Media Player Test project. In this Media Player Test project, there is a folder called resource. The resource there is a folder called drawable. So this I'm copying these images, this back button, forward button, this logo button. So I'm copying all these images. We'll copy all these images and we'll place all these images into So we'll place all these images into drawable folder. In the resource there is a folder called drawable. We'll place all the images into which folder? Into the drawable folder in LDPI. LDPI, HDPI and XHDPI. We'll place all the images into which folder? Drawable folder. Okay, so this was the first step we had to do. Okay, that's the project plans. So we placed all the images into drawable folder. We placed all the images. Next, we have to design the UI in this format. We have to design the UI. So if you want to design the UI in this format, so open the XML file. So let's see. First, initially we'll go for drag and drop approach, and I'll explain you what are the problems we are having with this drag and drop approach. For example, first thing is I want to create a media player logo. I want to create. Anyway, we already placed that 5 images into drawable folder. Let's see. First one is image view component. Drag the image view component, and here take a UI component called logo. Okay, this is what the first UI component. Okay, fine. Next, what is the next UI component we have to create? We have to create a CCar component. We have to create. Meaning we have to create this UI component. We have to create. What is this UI component? It's a CCar. We have to create a CCar UI component. We have to create. If you want to create a CCar, select form widgets. In form widgets, you can find a UI component called CCar. Okay, so create a CCar component, a media player logo, and create a CCar component. Then after that, in the bottom of the screen, we have to create this five image view components. We have to create. So let us take the 5 image view components are images and media. So image view. This was the first thing. Back button. Okay. Back button. Next, what is the next one? Back button. Play button. Pause button. Back button, play button, pause button. Next, stop button and the forward button. See, we are getting some problems with the drag and drop or not? Yeah, we are getting some problem with the drag and drop. If you want to design the user interface, you don't have a complex user interface, then okay, drag and drop, you can go for drag and drop. Our previous examples we use drag and drop option we use because we don't have a complex user interface, we don't have. So that's why we use the drag and drop option we use. But here, if you want to use the complex user, if you want to design the complex user interface, Android is never preferred. Android is never preferred to use this UI group. Android is never preferred to use a UI group called relative layout. In your project, you should never use this relative layout. This is what the first thing. Why Android is not preferred this relative layout? Because Android is preferred to use either linear layout. Android is preferred to use either linear layout or the table layout. Android is never preferred to use this relative layout. Why? Because, and right now we are, for the UI components, we are applying a property called, UI property called weight and height. These properties we are applying. Weight and, what is the properties we are applying? Weight and height properties we are applying. Android is not preferred to use this. Android is not preferred to use this width. Sorry, not weight. Width property we are using. Android is never preferred to use this width property and the height property. Android is never preferred to use this width property and the height property. Android is preferred to use a weight property. Android is preferred to use a property called what? Weight property. It's preferred. Meaning right now we are specifying the properties, right? Match parent, fill parent, wrap content, like these kind of properties we are using. But Android is never preferred to use those properties. We use a property called what? Weight property we have to use. So this weight property also, either you can apply for any one component, either you can apply for width or you can apply for height. Okay. And another big disadvantage with this drag and drop option is what, another big Problem if you use this drag and drop option is, see, you drag the component, height is wrap content. Wrap content means up to the image size. See, for example, this image, meaning this screen height is, let us take 960 pixels was. For 960 pixels, now you see in the user interface, it is looking fine. Okay, you feel like it's working fine. The user interface is also designed good. But same application if you install in another phone, the same application you install in another phone, let us take this phone resolution is 2048. What is the screen resolution? 2048 is a screen resolution. If you install the application in this resolution, what will happen, you know, this screen, this entire UI what you design, this entire UI what you design, you will get only half part of the screen you will get, because you design the height for 960 pixels. Same thing if you move into 2048 pixels, you will get the height is very small, you will get, meaning like this you will get. This is what the problem if you use a drag and drop. Initially you will use the drag and drop support only for whatever the screen it's visible. But if your screen is changed, if you deploy your application in other phones, then you will get a problem. You will get these kind of UI issues. You will get. That's why Android is never preferred to use a properties called uh, width property and height property. What we had to do is, let us take this one. We had to take a linear layout. We had to take for this linear layout. We had to take. In this linear layout, I want to occupy. In place of specifying the width and height, we use a property called weight property. We use. Weight means nothing but the ratio here, meaning 70% of the screen, 70% of the screen I want to occupy for this media player logo. 10% of the screen I want to occupy for this seek bar component. So we'll specify the ratio for this one is 10. And 20% of the ratio I want to create for this image view components. We'll specify the ratio is what? 20%. We'll specify the ratio for this one is what? 20%. We'll specify the ratio. The advantage if you use this weight property, you know, even though the resolution is changed, you don't need to worry, because we applied a property called weight property. We applied 70% of the screen is going to occupy for logo, 10% of the screen is going to occupy for this seek bar component, 20% of the screen is going to occupy for this bottom image components. That is what the advantage we are having in case of this weight property. So that's why never prefer to go for drag and drop. The second thing is never apply the width and never prefer these properties, width and height properties. Use a weight property. This is what the advantage if you use a weight property. So here, first of all, you had to, I told you, right, weight property you can apply either for width or either for height. First of all, we had to concern about the height. We had to concern. Second thing is we had to concern about this. Imagine this is one UI group, linear layout. For this 5 UI components, we had to create one more linear layout component. We had to create, and for this ratio, how many images we want to present? 5 image components we have to present, right? So these 5 image components also create image components. So 20%, 20% for each image component we had to specify. For each image component, we had to specify what is the ratio we had to specify for each image component. We had to specify 20%. We had to specify for each image component. For each image component, we had to specify the ratio of what? 20%. We had to specify the ratio. For each image component, we had to specify the ratio of what? 20% for this image component. Anyway, height is 20%. So how many images we have to present? 5 images, right? 5 images we have to present. So meaning with respect to width wise, we separated the ratio with what? 2. Okay. Now we'll see in place of this image component. I'm removing all this user interface. I'm removing whatever we created. That user interface, I'm removing everything. Okay. So observe carefully. In place of the drag and drop option, I'm creating the user interface manually with the support of width property, not the with the support of weight property, not the width and height. Okay, let's see the UI. Just now we discussed, in place of this relative layout, we never prefer to go for relative layout. In place of this relative layout, which UI group we have to use? The linear layout we have to use. What is the UI group name? Linear layout. If you close with the linear layout, we have to close this tag also with the linear layout. Linear layout by linear layout. And for the linear layout, we had to specify one more property. We had to specify. I hope already explained that one. What is the property? Android colon orientation. Android colon orientation is equals to, I'll specify what? Vertical. Vertically, I want to present the user interface. I want to design vertically. Okay. So next, after that, I want to create three UI components. I want to create. This is the one thing is image view component, one seekbar component, and these 5 images I want to create. Let's take the first one is image view component. Image view. Let's specify the width and height. Android colon width is equals to match parent. Not Android colon width is equals to what? Match parent. Okay. But height property we have to specify Android colon layout underscore height is equals to, first of all you have to specify 0 dp. First of all we have to specify what? 0 dp. We have to specify Android colon layout underscore height is equals to 0.0 dp. Whatever the image you want to display, specify that image here. Android colon src is equals to add drawable slash, specify the image name. Image name is media player logo. Media player logo is the image name. Next we specified a height is 0 dp, right? So that's why it's not visible. And I told you, right, in place of width or height property, we use a property called what? Weight. Android colon layout weight is equals to 70% of the screen I want to occupy. The total weight of the screen is 1. So that's why I specified the total weight is what? 0.7. I specified for this image view component. Okay. So this is what the first thing, image view component we created. So next thing is we had to create. So we completed this part, we created this image view component we created. So this is completed. This image view creation part is completed. Now what is the next one? We had to create this seekbar component. We had to create this seekbar component. So for this seekbar, we had to create this seekbar component. So create a seekbar component. We had to create one more UI component called seekbar. For this seekbar also same thing. Width, height and weight. We had to apply these properties. So width match parent, occupy the entire screen. Height 0 dp we specified. So next weight property we applied 0.1. So we created one seekbar component. We created media player logo and the seekbar component we created. So next after this seekbar, if you want to present the UI in this format, if you want to present the UI in this format, if you want to present the UI in this format, we had to create a linear layout. Which UI group we had to create? We had to create one linear layout. So we had to create a UI group called. So after this seekbar component, we had to create a UI component called linear layout. We had to create a UI component called what? Linear layout. Specify the width and height. Occupy the entire screen width. And Android colon height is equals to, I specified 0 dp. And Android colon layout underscore weight is equals to 0.2. Okay. So for this, see here at the bottom of the screen, you will get 20% of the screen for this linear layout component you will get. Okay. So it's a linear layout, and I want to present the items. In this linear layout, I want to present the items. I want to present in a horizontal format. I want to present. These 5 ImageView components I want to present in a horizontal format I want to present. So what is the orientation we had to specify? For the linear layout we had to specify the orientation Android colon orientation is equals to what? We had to specify horizontal. So inside this linear layout, we had to create 5 ImageView components we had to create. Inside this linear layout, what we had to do? We had to create 5 UI components we had to create, 5 ImageView components. 5 ImageView components we have to create. So create an ImageView component. Now height is, we don't need to worry about the height. Height property will apply match parent. But we have to concern about what? We had to concern about the width property. We had to concern width. How much you want to occupy on the screen? 20% of the screen I want to occupy for this width. So here what we will do is inside this linear layout, we'll apply a property called height is equals to match parent. I'll specify height is equals to what? Match parent, but width is equals to, I'll specify what? 0 dB. Width is equals to what? 0 dB. Which image you want to display on the screen? Specify that image. Android colon src is equals to add drawable slash back button. Like this, I want to create 5 ImageView components. I want to create. One is back, play button, back button, play button, back button, play button, pause button, back, play, pause, stop, and the forward. I have to create one more button called forward. So we had to create 5. We created 5 ImageView components. We created. Let's see how it will display. Suggested or not. So 5 ImageView components we created. Now with this one, what is the advantage if you use this weight property and all? First of all, any complex user interface, any complex UI we can design by using this weight property. Even though if we change the orientation, let us take I install this application in a very small resolution, 200 resolution, automatically does just. You will not get any change in the user interface. If you deploy this application in more than the screen resolution, a big resolution install, you don't worry, because automatically we applied a property called what? Weight property we applied. 70% of the screen will occupy for this text view component, 10% of the screen will occupy for seek bar, 20% of the screen is going to occupy for this image view components. Again in the 20% height, again in the width, each image view component is going to occupy how much space? 20% of the screen is going to occupy. So this is what the weight property. Okay, your future examples, or if you are doing any project, never prefer to go for relative layout property and never prefer to use this width and height property directly. In place of width and height property, use a property called weight. Okay, the advantage is that one, because Android contains n number of screen resolutions. You don't know in which phone the user is going to install the application, so that's why all the applications have to use a weight property we have to use. So I hope you understand this one. If you have any queries in the user interface design, meaning only we completed the designing part we completed. Still we have not written any logic for this play, pause, forward and all. So before going to write the logic, if you have any queries in this UI design, just let me know the queries so that I'll help you. And first, have you completed this user interface, UI designing? So if you have any queries, send the query. Or if you have any queries regarding this UI designing, send the queries. Otherwise, we'll proceed to the coding part. But UI, this designing is most important. You have to understand the weight property, where you have to use. So send me the response at least if you are doing or what. If you don't have any queries, send the queries. If you are doing, send the response. We are doing. So I'll wait for a couple of minutes. So let me know once if you complete so that I'll proceed to the coding part. if you want to take these images, go to the workspace what I shared. In that workspace you can find a project called media test. Okay, so media player test or something. In that folder, resource folder, you can find a folder called drawable. In the drawable folder you can find all these images. Okay, so once send the response if this UI is completed, so that I'll write the coding part. I'll write. So first we create an image view component. We applied height is 0 dp and width is 0.7, so it's going to occupy 70% of the screen. It's going to occupy in the height. Next we created a sequer component. We created height is 0 dp and the weight is what, 0.1, so you will get 0.8. You will get. Next we created one more UI component called linear layout. For this linear layout we applied a UI, the weight property we applied for is what, 0.20% of the screen, and we applied the orientation is what, horizontal. So inside this linear layout we created 5 UI components. We created, so with the weight property 0.2 is the weight. So like that we had to create 5 image view components we had to create. So designing part is completed. So now we'll write the logic in the Java file. So, but before that, we had to configure the click event for all these image view components. We had to configure the click event. So these are the we had to configure the click event for all these image view components. The back button, let us say Android colon on click is equals to what? Back. When user selects play button, we'll configure the click event Android colon on click is equals to play. Back button, play button, and we had to configure the click event for a pause. Android colon on click is equals to a pause. We're configuring the click event for all these image components what we created. Back, play, pause, stop, and the forward. Android colon on click is equals to a forward. So we design the UI we designed. So now we have to configure, we already configured the click event also, we already configured Android colon on click is equals to, we specified the method name we specified. So now we have to configure, this 5 methods we have to configure in the Java file. Okay. So open this main activity.java, the src main activity.java. We had to create 5 methods we had to create, that back, forward, play, pause and all. Okay. So in this main activity.java, we had to create 5 methods we had to create here. One is play, pause, stop and all. So public void one is play. We use the input parameter for this. Play, pause, stop, previous and backward. Back, play, back, play, pause, stop, and have to configure one more method called forward. Okay, so you configure the click event for all the five buttons. We already configured the click event: play, pause, stop, forward, and backward. Okay, so now we already configured the click event also we configured. Okay, so now we have to write the logic for it. Initially we'll write the logic for these 3 buttons, only for play button, pause button, and the play, pause, and stop button. Initially we'll write the logic for only these three buttons. We'll write the logic. When user selects the play button, we have to start playing an audio file we have to play. So first what we'll do is, whatever the file he wants to play, okay. So play, pause, forward, backward and all. So what are the audio file he wants to play? In the resource folder, create one new folder, resource folder, create a new folder with the name raw is the folder name. What is the folder name? Raw is a folder. In the resource folder, create a folder with the name what? Raw is the folder name. Whatever the audio file he wants to play, place that audio file into this raw folder. Inside the resource folder, I created a new folder with the name what? Raw is the folder name. Whatever the audio file he wants to play, place that audio file into raw folder. Okay. So I'm collecting an audio file from my system. Something. This is one audio file. Britney Spears. This is an audio file in my system. Just I'm copying this audio file. Place this audio file into which folder? Raw folder. Whatever the audio file you want to play, first place that audio file into the raw folder. This is what the first thing we have to do. Second thing is, if you want to play the audio file, if you want to play, first we had to create an object for media player class. We had to create an object. Create an object for which class? Media player. So initialize a media player object in the onCreate method. In the onCreate method, initialize a media player object. So media player is equals to media player dot create is a method. Media player is equals to media player dot create is a method. First parameter we had to specify the context. First parameter is the context. There is a method called get application context is a method. Get application context is a method. Second parameter we had to specify the file ID we had to specify. I mean the resource ID we had to specify. The resource ID is r dot, meaning the resource folder. What is the folder name? Raw is a folder. In the raw folder, what is the file name? The Britney Spears. This is what the audio file I want to play. Okay. So media player is equals to media player dot create of context, and the second thing is we specified the audio file we specified which audio file he wants to play. When user selects play button, I want to start playing an audio file I want to play. So if you want to start playing an audio file, the media player dot start is the method start playing an audio file. If you want to pause playing an audio file, media player dot pause is a method to pause playing an audio file. Media player dot start to start playing an audio file. Media player dot stop. Media player dot pause for pause an audio file. If you want to stop playing an audio file, media player dot stop is a method for stop playing an audio file. Media player dot start, media player dot pause, and media player dot stop. Okay. So what are the steps we did? First we place that audio file into raw folder. We place the audio file. Second thing is which audio file he wants to play. First we have to create an object for media player dot create of context and the file name r dot raw dot file name. So when user selects play button, start playing an audio file, media player dot start, media player dot pause, and media player dot stop. Okay. So we'll test the application. Whether we'll see first these functionalities are working or not. The start functionality, a place functionality, forward and backward. So run the application, media player test. Media player test run as Android application. Just I'm testing the application on the phone. Okay. So app is installed. This is my phone preview. Okay. App is installed in my phone. So now we written the logic for play button, pause button, and stop button. So now I'm selecting play button. It is playing an audio file. When I select pause button, it will pause playing an audio file. Okay. So once again, if you select play button, it will play from the current location where it is paused. Okay. So I hope you are listening in audio files. So pause and again play button. When you select stop button, now I selected stop button, it stopped playing an audio file. And next, what is the functionality we'll expect when you select the play button? I selected stop button for stop playing an audio file. So now if you select play button, if you select, it has to play for it has to play the audio file from the location where it is paused, where it is stopped. It has to play initially it has to play when you select the stop button. So let's see, I'm selecting the play button, but it's not doing anything. It's not playing the audio file from the initial location. So for this one, what you have to do is, if you want to play the audio file from the initial location again, so what you have to do is, once if you select the stop button, once the media player is stopped, again we have to reinitialize the media player. Once the media player is stopped, what we have to do again, we have to reinitialize the media player. We have to reinitialize media player is equals to media player dot create of context and the file name r dot ra dot what is the file name. What I did, when I select the stop button, we had to stop playing an audio file. We had to stop again. We had to reinitialize the media player. We had to reinitialize. We had to stop playing an audio file. Then after that, what we are doing again, we are reinitializing the media player. We are reinitializing. Okay. So next we'll install the application. Media player test run as Android application. So app is installed. Okay. I selected play button. When you select pause button, pause playing an audio file. So again, when you select play button, it will play the audio file. When you select pause an audio file. Again, I'm selecting the play button. It is playing an audio file. When you select stop, it will stop playing an audio file. Again, when you select play button, it will play from the initial location where it is, initial position when you select the stop button. Okay. This is what our media player. Now we completed 3 functionalities. We completed how to select, how to start, pause, and stop. So now we'll write the logic for backward button and the forward button. Okay. So tell me how to provide that backward support and forward support. How to write the logic? Just think in 1 minute. Tell me how to provide the backward functionality and the forward functionality. Okay. So let's think how to provide that backward functionality and the forward functionality. What is the functionality we had to provide when you select the back button? Just go back to the few seconds back. When you select forward button, just forward to the few seconds. Okay. So let's think how to provide that one. Okay. So when you select back button, so observe here, when you select the back button, what is the functionality we are expecting? Just we have to play the audio file, get back to few seconds and play the audio file. So if you want to back to few seconds, If you want to go back to the few seconds, if you want to go back, there is a method called, I given the list out, right? Some list of methods I given. So here, these are the list of methods. MediaPlayer.seek2 is the method. MediaPlayer.seek2 is the method. So in this seek2 method, directly we can specify from which location. From which location you want to play the audio file. From which location you want to play the audio file. We had to we will specify that location in the seek2 method. In which location you want to play the audio file, we will specify that location in the seek2 method. But we don't know, right, in which position it is. Just back to the get back to few seconds back. We have to get back. And we don't know where it is playing the audio file. First of all, if you want to get the current location where it is playing the audio file, we use a method called get current position is the method. Get current position is the method, so that we will get the current location where it is playing an audio file. Okay. So next we have to get back to few seconds. We have to get back. So what is the logical right is, so observe here, media player dot seek2 is the method. Directly can specify the specific location. Media player dot seek2, media player dot get current position is a method. You will get the current position. You will get media player dot get current position minus media player dot get duration by 10. Understand the logic? So media player dot seek2 is a method. I want to start playing an audio file. I want to start playing an audio file from the location media player dot seek2, media player dot get current position, get the current position minus just get back to the meaning. For example, my total length of audio file is 300 seconds was. Right now it is playing the audio file in 100 seconds. Okay, what is the logic written? For example, the total length of audio file is, let us take the total length of audio file is, for example, 1000 seconds. Imagine the total length of audio file is 1000 seconds is the total length of audio file. Imagine now it is playing an audio file at the 400 or 500 second, it is playing an audio file. What is the logic written? Media player dot get current position minus media player dot get duration by 10 we given. Meaning how much you will get? 500 minus 100 you will get. So it is going to play the audio file from, it is going to play the audio file from 400 second. It is going to play the audio from the 400 second. It is going to play the audio file. That's it. These are the logic when you select the back button. So when you when you select forward button, media player dot seek2, media player dot get current position plus media player dot get duration by. Okay, so we'll test the application. Media player dot test run as Android application. Okay, so app is installed. Select the play button. It is playing an audio file. Now I'm selecting the forward button. 2 times I selected the forward button. Directly it is forwarding. Directly it is jumping to specific location. It is jumping the audio file. When I select back button, directly is jumping on it. I don't know if it's understanding or not, but now I'm selecting forward button. Observe here. Okay, so this is what the backward button and backward logic and the forward logic. Directly is jumping an audio file. When you select forward, when you select back, you'll get back in a few seconds. Okay, so this is what we completed all the 5 functionalities we completed: backward, play, pause, stop, and forward. Okay, so let me know, have you completed these 5 operations or not? So once if you complete, just send me the response complete. If you are still doing, send me a response doing. So if it is completed, so that we'll proceed to the next things. We are having next two things, right? We have to write the logic for it. We had to write the logic for this seek bar. We had to write the logic, and we had to write the logic when it is playing an audio file. Automatically, we had to update this seek bar position. We had to update automatically. Okay. So these two things will write the logic. Before that, I told you, right? So let me know whether you have completed this five buttons logic or not. So if it is completed, send the response completed, so that we'll proceed to the next one. Okay. That is, we'll discuss how to, when you select the when you update the seek bar, how we'll play the audio file from that specific location. When it is playing the audio file, uh, how to update the seek bar automatically. That one we'll see first. First, let me confirm whether you completed these five operations or not. So if we are doing send the response doing, if it is completed, send the response completed, so that I'll write the logic for the seek bar. So I'll take a 5 minutes break. So just I'll get back. Now it's 11:25. So I'll take a 10 minutes break. Then after that I'll start the session. So I'll take a break up to now it's 11:30. So now it's 11:30. I'll take a break up to 11:45. So then we'll write the logic. Then we'll write the logic for that seek bar movement and automatically how to update the seek bar. We'll see that. Okay. So thank you, and after that break, we'll see that two things. So shall we start? Okay. So we completed these 5 operations. We completed play, pause, stop, backward and forward. Backward and forward. So we completed these functionalities. We completed. So now we have to write the logic for this seek bar. So these 5 operations are completed. Now we have to write the logic for what? Now we have to write the logic for the seek bar. Directly if we select the seek bar in a particular position, for example, if I select the seek bar at this position, if I select, directly play the audio file from this location. If you select the seek bar at this position, if you select the seek bar, directly play the audio file from this location. Okay? So like wherever you select the position on the seek bar, directly play the audio file from that location. You have to play the audio file. You know, seek bar is having an event called seek bar change event. Just 1 second, I will call you. So we completed this functionality. We completed. Now, if you select the position on the seek bar, directly play the audio file from that location. Directly play the audio file from that location. This is what we have to write the logic. Directly, if you select any position on the seek bar, directly play the audio file from that selected location. So now this logic we have to write. If you select any position on the seek bar, directly play the audio file from that location. So seek bar is having an event called seek bar change event. Seek bar is having an event called what? Seek bar change event. Meaning we can change the seek bar position. We can change. Okay. So what is the event type? Seek bar change is the event type. To get this event, meaning the seek bar changed event. If you want to get this event, if you want to get this seek bar change event, so we have to configure a listener. We have to configure, that is seek bar change listener. If you want to get this event, we have to configure a listener called what? Seek bar change listener. We have to configure a listener called seek bar change listener. We have to configure a listener called seek bar change listener, and we had to specify what is the maximum length. For this seek bar, and we had to configure what is the maximum length for this seek bar. We had to configure this one. Okay. So here in your Java file, the main activity.java file, the XML file, we created a seek bar component. We had to get the seek bar component. We had to get the seek bar component in the onCreate method. In the onCreate method, we had to get the seek bar component. We had to get seek bar. There is a method called findVyId is the method. r.id.seekbar. So why we are not getting here? Because in the XML file we have not specified the ID. In the XML file we created seek bar, but we have not. For the seek bar component, we had to specify an ID. We had to specify for this seek bar component. So Android colon ID is equals to @+ ID/. So we had to specify an ID for the seek bar component. What is the ID we specified? S1 is the ID we specified for this seek bar component. So in the Java file, we had to get the seekbar component. We had to get the Java file r.id.st. Get the seekbar component. We had to get into Java file. And for this seekbar component, we had to configure a listener. We had to configure for this seekbar. We had to configure a listener. That is seekbar dot seekbar dot. We had to configure this listener. We had to configure set on seekbar change listener. What is the input parameter? On seekbar change listener. What is the input parameter for this? Input parameter for this one is on seekbar change listener is the input parameter. So we had to create an object for on seekbar change listener. We had to create an object for on seekbar change listener class. We had to create an object. We had to create an object for on seekbar change listener. We had to create an object. Okay. So this is what the listener we configured. Set on seekbar change listener. The input parameter for this one is we specified object of on seekbar change listener. Whenever you change that, but I told you right before going to configure the listener, we had to specify what is the maximum length for this seekbar. Seekbar dot set max of media player dot get duration is the method. Get the total length of audio file. Set that length to the seekbar component. So once if you update the seekbar, this listener is going to be called on seekbar change listener. On seekbar change listener is going to be called. In this listener, there is a method called on progress change is a method. There is a method called what? On progress change is the method. So now we have to set that media, meaning we have to specify the position. We have to specify. Meaning once if you select the seekbar, this listener is going to call on progress change method is going to be called, and you will get the updated progress you will get. See, this method is taking an input parameter called progress, right? This progress means nothing but the selected position where you selected that position on the seekbar. So you have to update the media player. You have to update media player dot seek2 is the update. You have to update the media player position. So where the selected position. The selected I want to update the media player position. I want to update to where you want to update to the media player current position. You have to update. Okay. So we'll test the application. So we'll test the application. So we'll test the application. Media player test run as Android application. Okay. So I'm playing the audio file. Directly, if you update the seekbar position, directly it will play the audio file from that location. See, I'm selecting this position. Yeah, directly displaying the audio file. Directly displaying the audio file from the selected location. Okay. So now we written the logic for the seek bar. Meaning when you move the seek bar position, directly it is playing the audio file from that selected location. It is playing the audio file. So now one thing is remaining. That is when it is playing the audio file. For example, now it is initial position was. When you select the play button, it is playing the audio file. But if you observe, the seek bar is not moving. The seek bar is not moving. My requirement is here, when it is playing the audio file, automatically I want to update the seek bar position, automatically I want to update. When it is playing the audio file, automatically I want to update the seek bar position, I want to update automatically. So this logic we have to write. This is only the remaining thing. So we have to write this logic. When it is playing the audio file, automatically I want to update the seek bar position, I want to update automatically. Okay. So here, meaning for every 1 second, we had to update the seek bar position. We had to update. How to update the seek bar position for every 1 second? Meaning for a specific time interval. I want to update that seek bar position. I want to update. How we can do that one? Meaning for every 1 second, we had to update the seek bar position. We had to update. Just get the media player current position. Get the media player current position where it is playing the audio file. Get the media player current position where it is playing an audio file and update the seek bar position to that place. Get the media player current position, update the media player to that current position. This logic you have to write. Get the media player current position and update that media player current position to the seek bar. This logic you have to. Okay. So this logic you have to write. For this one, we are going to create. A handler. We are going to create. What is the next one? For this one, we are going to create what? A handler. We are going to create. Okay. So most important thing, handler. So you have to understand what is meant by handler. Okay. So handler is also internally nothing but thread only. Handler is also internally what? It is also a thread. Handler also internally nothing but what? It's a thread. But handler is having one supporting functionality. We can specify the time interval. Meaning frequently if you want to perform any operation. For example, for every 10 seconds I want to perform this operation. For every 15 seconds I want to perform this operation. Like frequently if you want to call any operation, then we use a concept called what? Handler concept we use. Okay. So most important one, we'll see how to create the handler. Okay. We'll see how to create the handler concept. See how to create a handler we'll see. So globally, it's simple only. Just globally we had to create an object for handler. Globally we had to create an object for what? Handler. My handler is equals to new handler. We had to create an object for which class? Handler class. We had to create an object. Handler. Create an object for handler. Okay. So in the create an object for handler. So in the onCreate method, so we create a handler, right? Just we initialize the handler object we initialized. We initialized what? The handler object we initialized. Next, what we'll do is we'll create one method we'll create. Update seek bar is a method name. What is the method name? Update seek bar is a method. What is the first step we did? Globally we created globally we created an object for handler. Globally we created an object for handler. In the onCreate method, we are calling one method called update seekbar is a method. What is the method name? Update seekbar is a method. So we had to create one method here. We had to create one method in the Java file. Public void update seekbar is a method. Public void update seekbar is a method. Because we are calling one method, we are calling from the onCreate method. That method is not available, so we created one separate method. We created. What is the method name? Public void update seekbar is a method name. In this seekbar method, public void update seekbar method, what I am doing is media player. I want to update the seekbar position. I want to update what? Which position? The seekbar position I want to update. So seekbar dot. I want to update the seekbar position. I want to update. Seekbar dot. There is a method called set position is a method. What is the method name? Seekbar dot set progress is a method. I want to update the seekbar position. I want to update. Where you want to update the seekbar position, you have to specify. Where you want to update the seekbar? Media player dot get current position. Where you want to update the seekbar position? Media player dot current position is the method. Meaning I want to update the seekbar position right now where it is playing the audio file. Okay. Then after that we created one handler concept we created. Then we created a handler we created. So we use that handler object. We use that handler. What is the handler name? My handler dot post delayed is the method. What is the method name? Post delayed is the method. We had to specify two parameters here. First parameter is a runnable object. Second parameter is a delay milliseconds. Meaning in the onCreate method, so in the onCreate method, we are calling a method called update seekbar. So this update seekbar method is going to be called. In the update seekbar, we are updating the seekbar position to where we are updating the seekbar position to the media player current position. Then after that, after updating the media player position to the seekbar position, my handler dot post delay dot. First parameter we had to specify the runnable object. Second parameter we had to specify the delay milliseconds. Meaning I specified 1000 was. I specified what? 1000 I specified. Meaning it is going to wait for 1 second. It is going to wait for 1 second. After 1 second, here what is the first parameter we had to specify? Runnable object we had to specify. So create an object for runnable. Runnable run is equals to new runnable. Runnable run is equals to new runnable. So we had to specify these two parameters. We had to specify my handler dot post delayed of run comma 1000. Meaning wait for 1 second. Wait for 1 second. After that call the runnable. So in the runnable method again call update seekbar. In the runnable method again I'm calling what? Update seekbar method I am calling. So in the onCreate method, from the onCreate method, we are calling this update seekbar method I am calling. From onCreate method, I am calling update seekbar method I am calling. In this update seekbar method, I am updating the seekbar position. I am updating the seekbar position to the media player current position. Then after that, wait for 100 milliseconds. Wait for 1000 milliseconds, meaning 1 second. Then call the runnable. So this is going to be repeat boss. This is going to be repeat process. onCreate is going to call onCreate is going to call update seekbar method. In the update seekbar method, we are updating the media player position. We are updating the seekbar position to the media player current position. We are updating the seekbar position to the media player current position. Then after that, wait for 1000 milliseconds. Again call the runnable. So this process is going to be repeat. This process is going to be repeat first. Call the update, call the runnable, and call the seekbar. Update seekbar. Call the runnable and update seekbar. This process is going to be repeat for every 1 second. This process is going to be repeat. So it's going to update the seekbar position. It's going to update. So now we'll test the application. Let's see whether it is updating the seekbar position or not. Media player test run as Android application. So app is installed. So now we'll test the application whether it is getting or not. So I selected the play button. I selected. If you observe here, automatically the seek bar is updating automatically. We are updating the seek bar position. We are updating automatically. Okay. When you select pause button, it will not update the seek bar position. It will not update because we pause playing an audio file. Okay. So this is what the media player, meaning we created our own media player. We created. Okay. So have you completed up to this? If you have any queries, post the queries. If you are doing, send. We are doing, still doing, so that I'll wait for a couple of minutes. Okay. So send me the response. Actually, what do you want? What is the progress? Okay. So this is what our own media player. Handler means if you want to do any process repeatedly. In our example, what is the process we have to do repeatedly? For every 1 second, we had to update the seek bar position. We had to update. For every 1 second, we had to update the seek bar position. We had to update. So if you want to perform any action for a specific time interval, then we use a handler concept we use. Globally here we created an object for handler is equals to new handler. In the onCreate method, what we are doing is we are calling a method called update seek bar is a method. We are calling this update seek bar method. We are calling this update seek bar method is not available, so that's why we created on method. We created update seek bar. In this update seek bar method, I am updating the seek bar position. I am updating the seek bar position. I am updating. Then after that, wait for 1 second. Wait for 1 second. After that 1 second, it is going to call the runnable. In the runnable, what we are doing? Again, we are calling update seek bar. Update seek bar. So call the update seek bar and call the runnable. Update seek bar and call the runnable. So there is no end for this process. There is no end for this process. Continuously, this process is going to be repeat. For every 1 second, we are updating the seek bar position. We are updating. Okay, this is all the handler concept. Remember, if you want to perform any action for a specific time interval, then we use a handler concept we used. Okay, so I hope you understand. Let me know your application status, whether we'll wait or shall I continue, or what you already completed. So send me the status, whether you are doing completed. So if you are doing so let us take later you can do that one. Okay, so we'll discuss the next concept. We'll discuss after this media player. That is what in the media player. So we'll discuss the next concept. We'll discuss the next UI component called video view component. What is the next one? Video view. So video view component. So video view is one of the UI component. Video view is one of the UI component. Just 2 minutes. Just 2 minutes, guys. We'll start. Remaining 2 is just we have to use a method called set data source is the method. Okay. We discussed about from the APK file, right? Just in place of this APK file, media player is equals to media player dot create is a method, right? So in place of this one, just specify the SD card path or the network URL. So that's it. You can play the audio file from the storage or the internet. Okay. You can play the audio file from the storage or the network. Okay. You have to explore few things. You have to yourself pause. Okay. So what is the next UI component? The next UI component is what? Video view is a UI component. So video view is one of the UI component. Video view is one of the UI component which is used to play the video files. Video view is one of the UI components which is used to play what? Video view is one of the UI component. Video view is one of the UI component which is used to play the video files in Android. Video view is one of the UI component which is used to play the video files in Android. So simple, it's very simple. Just you have to create in the XML file. In XML file, we had to create a UI component called video view. In the XML file, we had to create a UI component called video view, and we had to create the UI comp. Just we had to, it's like normal other UI components. You had to create a video view UI component. You had to create in the Java file. In the Java file, we had to get the we had to specify an ID for this video view component. We had to specify an ID for the UI component. Android colon ID is equals to Android colon ID is equals to @ plus ID slash. You can specify any ID. Let us take ID I specified. V1 is the ID I specified. So in the Java file, we had to create a video view component. We had to create in the Java file. Video view is equals to video view is equals to video view. Find view by ID is a method. Find view by ID is a method. r.id dot v1 is a method. Video view is equals to find view by ID r.id dot v1, the ID of the UI component, so that you'll get a video view component. You will get into your Java code. Next, video view dot there is a method called set video path is the method. What is the method name? Set video path is the method wherever the video file is available. You have to specify the video file path. You have to specify in your system where the video file is available. We have to specify the video file path. We have to specify, or in case of if you are playing the video file from your internet, you have to specify the video file URL. You have to specify. That's it. So if you want to start playing the video file, video view.start is the method. Video view.start is the method for start playing the video file. So video view is equals to video view find view by ID r.id dot the ID of the video view component. Video view.set video path is the method. We have to specify either video file path or the video file URL. So next, video view.start is the method for start playing the video file. Okay. So now let's see how to play this video file by using the video view component. Okay. So now we'll create. Before that, first I'll show you in my system there is a video file is available. Okay. So first what we'll do is we'll take one file URL. We'll take. So we'll take one video file URL. So go to ES File Explorer. So we'll take one video file URL. So in my system there is a folder called in the phone SD card 1 in place of storage SD card 0. Let us take SD card 1 meaning external storage. Here there is a folder called in the SD card 1. There is a folder called My Videos is a folder. What is the folder name? My Videos is a folder. This My Videos folder contains some video files. This My Videos folder contains some video files. Let us take, I want to play this video file I want to play. Let us take madhuram.mp4 is a video file. I want to play this video file I want to play. So let's see here how to play this video file. So we'll create a project. We'll create a new project. Let us take file, new Android application project. File, new Android application project. We'll create a project called video view test is a project name. What is the project name? Video view test is a project name. Okay. So we'll create a project called video view test. Next. Video view test. Next. So in the activity XML file, okay. So in the activity XML file, we'll create a UI component called video view. In the images and media, we'll create a UI component called video view. We'll create a UI component called what? Video view. So create a video view component in the Java file. I mean your XML file. Create a UI component called video view. Create a UI component called what? Video view is a UI component. So in the activity Java file, main activity.java. So we had to create a UI component called video view. We have to create a UI component called what? Video view is a UI component. So video view is equals to video view find view by ID r.id.video view is the component. Okay. So we have to get the video view component. We have to get the video view dot. There is a method called. What is the method name? I told you set video path is the method. I already shown you the path, right? In the storage, specify the path here /storage /SD card 1. In the phone external storage, in the phone external storage, the phone external storage, there is a folder called my videos is a folder. There is a folder called my videos. In the my videos folder, you can find one file. You can find in the my videos folder. What is the file name we seen? We seen a file .maduram.mp4 is a video file. What is the video file name? Maduram.mp4 is a video file. And let's start playing the video file. Video view dot start is a method. Video view dot start is a method for start playing the video file. So video view is equals to video view find view by id. Video view dot set video path. We specified the file path we specified, and video view dot start playing the video file. But we are reading the storage, right? We are reading the storage information we are reading. So without user permissions, we cannot read the storage information. So in the Android manifest.xml file, we have to add this permission. We have to specify this permission, user's permission. Android colon name is equals to Android.permission. Read external storage is a permission. Android.permission.read external storage is a permission. We have to add this permission for reading the storage information. Okay. So we'll test the application. Video view test. Video view test run as Android application. So we are reading the storage information we are reading. So that's why in the manifest.xml we enable that permission. We enable read external storage permission. We enable. So project is installed. So this is what the video view component we created. So we are playing the video file we are playing. But for this video view component, if you want to get that controls, see, we don't have a controls here. That pause control, pause, forward, backward. So that controls is not available here. That controls are not available. So here, if you want to provide that controls, here to provide pause, stop, forward, backward, to provide pause, stop, forward, backward, and seek bar functionalities. To provide pause, stop, forward, backward, seek bar functionalities, we had to set the following methods. We had to set the following methods to video view component. So just we had to create an object for media controller. Media controller is equals to new media controller of this. Media controller is equals to new media controller of this. So next we had to set the media controller object to the video view component. Video view dot set controller of your media controller object. So once if you set this media controller object to the video view component, then automatically we'll get that controls will get automatically, that play, pause, forward, backward, seek bar functionalities automatically will get once if you set this media controller object to the video view component. So here in the activity XML file, we created a video view component we created. So now if you want to set that controls, we had to create an object for media controller. We had to create an object for which class? Media controller class. We had to create an object. Media controller is equals to new media controller of this. We had to set this media controller object to the video view component. Video view dot set media controller of controller. video view dot set media controller of controller. Once if you set this object, once if you set, automatically it is going to set. Automatically it is going to set the media controller object. I mean, automatically you'll get all the controls you will get, like play, pause, forward, backward. So all these controls you will get once if you set this media controller object to the video view component. So test application run as Android application. See, observe here. Previously we don't have that controls. We don't have that forward button, backward button. That kind of controls is not there. But once if you touch on the video file, we got these controls. This pause, forward, backward, this seeker functionality. So all the controls we are having. Okay. So automatically we got all the controls. To get all these controls, just we enable only one property we enable. That is video view dot set media controller property we enable. Okay. So this is what the video view component. If you want to play the audio file from video file from network, in place of this storage URL, specify the network URL. That's it. It will play the video file from the internet. Okay. So do you have any queries regarding this video view component? Send the queries. Otherwise, send completed so that no, we can close this one. Okay. So have you completed this video view component? It's very simple. Just we have to create a component and set that video path in the Java file and set the media controller. Automatically you'll get that controls, you will get that play, pause, backward, forward, everything. Okay. So this is what the video view component. So let me know what is your status. You completed or you are doing or what? So let me know your status. You are doing or completed or what? So based on that, okay. So okay, practice up to this one. Practice up to this media player and the video view component. So tomorrow session we'll close this remaining three things: audio recording, video recording, camera and gallery. Okay. So thank you. Practice up to this. And Shivaya, I'll call you just after half an hour or 1 hour. I'll call you later. Okay. So after when I reach to office, I'll call you when I get some free time. Okay. So thank you guys. Bye.